at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
Welcome. That's right. We are here. We're supposed to have a morning tea, but technology issues all the time, as everyone knows, with Tea Time with Miss Liz. But we are here this afternoon. So welcome and thank you for coming and tuning in for a late afternoon tea. So we were supposed to have a morning tea. Now we're having an afternoon tea, evening tea. We do all those different types of tea here. So we're going to start with the disclaimer of Miss Liz. Then we're going to do a little bio into the incredible Nes Reign. That's right. I have the beautiful Nes Reign in the studio with me. She's going to share all of the good stuff, her podcasting, her acting, singing, songwriting, all that good stuff. We will be doing an incredible show together this afternoon together. So the disclaimer for Miss Liz's live tea time live shows. Miss Liz, myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith, however may bring forth dialogue and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participation are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to this discussion. The content brought forward may include discussion for some where it may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about this disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I, Miss Liz, welcomes you. Should you decide that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect that and I will see you at a later date on a later show. So, let me give you a little intro into this incredible lady that is joining me today. I have Nes Reign. She is a host, podcaster, actress, and former singer-songwriter of Moroccan Oregon. Her dad's a former guest worker in Germany, decided to migrate to Germany when Ness was only 2 years old. At the age of 5, she tragically lost her sight due to an operation gone wrong. With two very determined parents who raised her to be as independent as possible from an early age, Ness took life in her own hands. At the age of 15, she signed her first artist deal as a member of a female trio. After 5 years, that situation came to an end due to differences with management. Nevertheless, Ness soon found herself presented with new opportunities. She scored a couple of acting and hosting engagements. She returned to music eventually and signed a couple more deals over time. Her newfound passion for TV opens more doors for her. Soon she had regular appearances and hosting engagements after a life changing event. Ness decided to retire as an artist and founded her podcast, Dope and Damage, which we'll be talking about today. Her tenacity and versatility, I'm not saying that right, my tongue is doing that trick again, make it easy for her to engage in various creative and entrepreneur projects. For more on Ness, you can find her on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And we will be bringing Ness into the studio so we can meet this incredible guest. So I'm going to pop you in. Welcome, Ness. It is an honor to have you here on Tea Time.
Hey, yes, technology tried to prevent it, but we fought back and we won. We're here.
We won. We won that. We won the technology issues today. It took us a while, but we figured it out. And working together with teamwork, we actually did accomplish it. And and we have you here, right? So,
Absolutely.
Ness, let's start right from the beginning. Who is Nes Reign and all that good stuff?
Man, you actually said everything. You really said everything. So basically, I'm of Moroccan origin. I was moved to Germany when I was 2 years old by my parents, by my amazing parents. And my dad was here in the 60s as a guest worker. So after the Second World War, Europe brought over a bunch of foreigners from all different places of the world to help build up the economy and build up basically all the countries, that needed building up after the Second World War. And mind you, the First World War and the Second World War, they were kind of like close, it was like, I think like 15 years of a difference, like in between, and that's it. So there was a lot to build up, and there was a lot that needed to get done. So all of these people came over here. One of them was my dad, and he worked various jobs in all type of different, fields. He worked as a postman. He worked as a delivery guy, as in restaurants. Like seriously, whatever it is, you name it, he did it. And then he went back to Morocco where he married my mom, and eventually like we all migrated over to Germany. And then when I was born, I had this thing where my eyes were constantly tearing, and I had in Morocco, I had like 8 operations, where they tried to always reduce that problem. And when it came to Germany, when we came to Germany, they said, oh, uh, let her get a little bit older. We're gonna do one operation, and it's gonna fix all the whole problem. So when I was 5 years old, they performed the surgery, and basically they messed up both of my eyes because they destroyed the retina. And for those who don't know what the retina is that very thin, small skin with little tiny holes, and that thing is actually what tells your brain what you see. So that's the connection between your eyes and your brain.
Wow. And we've been talking back and forth, and we've done a couple of things together, Ness. So we know each other's stories a little bit. And I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to thank you for coming on Tea Time because we both have challenges. For you, it's your eyes. My eyes are slowly going as well, but for me, it's my ears, right? So we've had that technology issue of, getting to push through those challenges. And that's what I read in your bio was that your parents taught you to be an overcomer, right? To push through those hard struggles.
My parents, there was no mercy, no whatsoever. They were like, I thought they were raised in the military. I don't know what happened there, but they were like, they, no, because they told me this, right? When I was 5, I didn't even know what it means. I really didn't know what it means. They told me, look, one day we're not going to be around anymore, and you need to stand on your own foot, on your own 2 feet, and you're starting now, you know? And I was like, I don't even know what they're talking about. Obviously that made sense when you get older, and it made sense when they pushed me through all kind of stuff. Like literally, I learned cooking when I was 10 years old. When I was 8 years old, I was in the kitchen the first time assisting and seeing how that works and everything. But literally, like when I was 10 years old, my nan, she came and she was like, no, come on, we're gonna do this now.
And I love that about you, Nessie, because you're just like, we're gonna do this. It's like this morning, we're like, we're gonna find a way. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get this done.
Yeah, it's an ego thing, I guess.
So what got you into the music, Ness?
Oh, this is a all right. So, I where I'm from, there is a lot of poverty. There is a lot of injustice. There's a lot of things going on. And this is not just in Morocco, it's in many, many, many places in the world. And before, when I was younger, it was even more than it is now. And I felt like, you know what, I want to make a difference. And I didn't know how to make a difference when I was just a nobody. And then I understood very early, okay, to make a difference, you need money or you need to have your name known. And I was like, okay, so what can I do? How can I achieve this? And I'm like, okay, I can sing a little bit. And then that's it. But when I was then 14, so I always had older friends, and there was some friends of mine, and they took me to an audition, and I auditioned, and they liked it, and they told me, "Oh, you can sing," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's cool." And I didn't understand what it means. I didn't know nothing about contracts. I didn't know nothing about recording studios. I had no idea how all of that works. I thought, okay, I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna meet interesting people, and maybe I can be part of making a difference in this world. So
Oh.
it's a very fairy tale story with a bad ending.
so, so Ness, we have a question here from one of the viewers, and they wrote, "As a songwriter, who was your biggest idol that inspired you to become a singer?"
See, this is the thing, I never had idols. I had people that inspired me, I had people as a kid. I was inspired by TLC. I loved TLC because they were so, different, and they were so bold and so brave, and they just, like talked about stuff that, and I was a kid, I didn't understand it, but I Ain't Too Proud to Beg didn't sound like, so like, when I'm older now, I'm like, oh my god, this inspired me as a 6-year-old, really. I'm like, really? Okay.
We always look back to our past and we're like, "What? Really? That really encouraged us?" Like,
With 6 years old, I didn't even know that it was so bold. For me, they were just different. They were not like the very. I love Whitney Houston. I think Whitney Houston is one of the greatest singers of all times, and she was amazing to me as well. But it was like something about TLC. I think it was the edge. Even as a child, you might not understand what the message is, but they have one. And being growing up in a country that was, it's very Western, coming from a non-Western culture, and being a foreigner here. So we foreign kids, we gravitated to hip hop and gravitated to R&B because that was rebellious music. And without even, this is something I just realized much, much, much later when I was older. This is something that we gravitated to because we were different and we were made to feel different. And that's why we gravitated to it. But to answer the question, like much later, I'm absolutely totally inspired by Missy and Timbaland, one of my favorite producers, if not my favorite producer of all time. And Missy is an amazing creative person. I can't even say she's a rapper, singer, or whatever. She's just, like an artist. She's an artist, and so yeah, Mary J. Blige is one of them. Different people, a little bit of everything.
so Ness, you were in a band, a trio
Mhm.
band. So how was that for you?
Oh, I was really excited because I do prefer to work in a team. But again, this is another fairy tale thing because I was like, oh my God, like you have like people your age group, people that you can share it with, like I'm totally a girly person. Like I love to have girls around me. But the thing is that unfortunately, yeah, it got really difficult over time because even though I didn't want that, because back then I was way more busy with trying to fit in than to stand out. And then I was busy with trying to fit in and stand out all at the same time. So I was naturally getting more attention, because of my situation, because I'm a loudmouth, because I say it how it is for many different reasons. And that was not really liked so much, that created competition and jealousy, to the point where I started, I started, how do I say, falling back and being more quiet. And, I didn't feel comfortable not being able to be myself because it bothered other people apparently so much.
Well, that's one of the traits that I really admire about you, Ness, is the straightforwardness. Because we need that straightforwardness, right? Because if we're not being our true selves, then we can't actually produce or give our true selves to everyone else.
Yes, that is very true, but I do get in trouble for that a lot. Because people say I'm too harsh, I'm too cold, and I don't even mean it in a cold way, but I'm not a fan of sugarcoating things. Like I
Yeah.
tell it how it is. If it's nice, I will say it's nice, it's amazing, and all of that. But if it's not good, I will say it's not good. I don't have to be condescending or disrespectful, but I will tell you. Like, for example, I had a podcast, and there was a girl, shout out to Nicole, and she was not getting to the point, and I was like, Nicole, I really like you, but you're not getting to the point right now.
Let's go. Stop the sugarcoating. Let's just get to it, right? Like, let's get to the
I
point.
said it on the recording. Like, it is what it is, like, I don't hide nothing. It's the same thing that we had also guests there, and I was like, I said to them straight, I said, you know what, I didn't want y'all on the podcast because I felt like it was not gonna go a certain way because there was an element missing to what you guys are here for, and I told them straight, because why am I gonna what? And then because it was it was a great episode. We made it work. It was amazing. It was nice to have them on. And but I don't have a problem admitting when I'm also wrong, you
Yeah.
know so
Yeah, and that's a good trait to have as well.
I couldn't
So
care less if I'm wrong. I never said I was perfect to begin with, so
yeah, so you moved to Germany when you were 2, right?
yeah.
Correct, Ness?
Hmm.
So do you still listen to the Moroccan music in that now that you're living in Germany? Like, do you still bring that into your life somehow?
All right. Just before I answer that, I just want to say I also lived in Atlanta for a little bit. Then I lived in the UK, and now I'm
Oh,
back in Germany. So yeah, I do. I got my fair share of traveling in because of the music, because of lifestyle, and everything. Because of my TV stuff. So I've been around the block a couple of times, and um, do I still listen to Moroccan music? Absolutely.
so what's your favorite song from the Moroccan
No
genre?
can say. I have
No
no
kissing.
favorite song. No can say. I have no favorite song.
Oh,
I listen.
no favorite.
No, I listen to all type of music. This is the thing. My go to music, my number one music will always be R&B and hip hop. But can we just also acknowledge there's R&B and hip hop in any language of this world? Because hip hop culture traveled. Like this is so huge. It's mainstream. It's pop culture right now. So you might go into the, I don't know, whatever smallest country somewhere in Asia or Africa, and you still find hip hop music there, and in their own mother tongue. And so for me, I am just influenced by so many different types of music, like my Moroccan, North African music, Afrobeat on a whole. I just really listen to a lot of music. Just like what I don't listen to is techno, house, and like heavy metal or whatever that is. That's not my cup of tea.
Not your cup of
No
tea,
pun
and I
intended.
love that. You're not my cup of tea.
Not my cup
And
of tea.
that's what I love about you, Ness. It's like not my cup of tea. I'm straightforward, and we have a lot of the same traits, right? Because we don't take a lot of that sugarcoat. Let's just get to the point. Let's get it out there, and if it aligns, it aligns. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we'll make it work, and then after that, we'll never do it again.
Hmm. Straight up.
So, Ness, what got you into acting?
What got me into acting? I guess so. That word that you couldn't say earlier, versatility.
Yeah, yeah, my tongue was playing all these funny tricks there.
I'm a very versatile person, and if somebody throws an opportunity at me, I will look at it. And if it's a challenge I like, I'll take it on. And acting is like music. When you like the music, when I write music, it's not necessarily just like all music, just what I go through. It's what people around me go through. It's what stories of things I've heard. So when this is acting, because you have to make the listener believe what you're telling them. So that's acting already. So why not just really act in a movie, in a show, or whatever?
So,
I love a challenge.
how many movies have you been in? Yes.
I think I've been in two, three movies. Two, I'd say two, three, because the third one was not released.
Okay.
And then I just did some shows, some like series where I was here, there, and I appear, that kind of stuff. And then I do mainly TV hosting though, and like it's mainly really interviewing celebrities, hosting certain segments of shows, that kind of stuff, or be a voice for a like a short documentary or something like that.
So what really inspired you the most out of all of that you've done?
Inspired me the most is the people you meet. People always inspire me, because I'm genuinely curious and inquisitive, and I want to get to know people. Like when I know people, I get to know them. I really want to know about them, not because, oh my God, give me all the jewels. Like I want the latest gossip. I really want to get to know you. If I'm interested in you, I want to get to know you. I want to understand you. I want to know your story so I know who you are. And because I feel like, a lot of the times, we all just fall into this thing where we treat people a certain way because we think they're weird, we think they're odd, we think they're not cool. But let's find out why, because most of the time there is a reason for why somebody is the way they are.
Exactly. There's a the story, right? Until you
Yeah.
know the story of the person, you can't understand the story of the person.
Yeah. And it's not all the time like that. Some people are just genuinely bad from jump, and you just don't like them, and we don't have to like everybody. I'm not, with this whole lie of, oh my God, everybody is nice. Well, nice doesn't mean anything. So, like you go to the grocery shop, the people in there are nice. You go to the bakery, people are nice. Like nice doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Like I tell my kids all the time, Ness, I'm not a nice person, I'm a kind person. When you
Yeah.
use and abuse my kindness, then that's it for me.
Yeah. Straight.
Because I find when we're too nice, people walk on us, right? They take advantage of us and they say, oh, well, she's nice. She will do it. She'll take care of it.
Well, this is what 2022 for me was about. I really had to learn, and I had to learn the hard way in my life generally, because I'm that type of person, like I always want to help. I always want to be around and fix this and fix that person and this person, but 2022 really was all about set boundaries. It doesn't matter, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you feel, oh my God, like you're the biggest monster out there, but you got to set boundaries. It is what it is.
I like that you said that because that's a strong point that we need to make. And for the listeners and viewers out there, setting boundaries is not meaning that you're a bad person. It just means that you're setting your limits, you know? And that's how you find out if people actually respect your boundaries. Because if they try to overstep your boundaries, then they don't have any respect for you at all.
Yeah, and and this is the thing, and then we all complain about why people did this to that, and how could they do this? Well, we let them. How about
Yeah.
that? How about taking some accountability for things that happen to you? And don't let things happen to you. I actually agree with the narrative when people say sometimes things happen for you. You know.
Well, and that's our story, right? We have to have failure. We have to have some things that, don't align with us so that we know that we never want to do that again. Try
Yeah.
it. And if you don't try, then you won't know. But if you try and you fail, or you try and it's something that doesn't work well with you, then I'm never doing this again. But I
Straight.
gave it that try, right? And I think that's the message
Right.
that your parents was trying to give you as a child too, was, you know what, we're not going to be around forever, so try a lot of stuff and do a lot of stuff and get it figured out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm absolutely grateful for my parents raising me that way, because I feel like there's two people in this world, two type of people. And this is the people who are um, doing something, so the leaders, or people who are just like watching. Oh, actually, let me rephrase this. There are three people. There is the leaders, the followers, and the watchers. And I do not want to be a watcher. Sometimes I am a follower, and that's great because I can be a follower. I don't feel any less being a follower, but I also can be a leader. So
I like that you gave those three out because it is true, right? You're either a leader, a follower, or a watcher. And the ones that are watching can actually learn from following and become a leader. So if you reverse all of them, you start from the watch, then you go to the follow, then you go to the lead. Sometimes they need the steps in order to reverse the steps.
Yes, but unfortunately, a lot of the watchers always remain watchers because there is a poison called overthinking, and that creates a lot of insecurities because I believe in order to be insecure you have to overthink a lot, and I actually do believe that all of us are insecure one way or another, but we just live with it differently. Some of us compensate like me, and others they just sit in their insecurities.
Yeah. So, what has been your biggest challenge in life, Ness?
My sister's murder.
Pardon?
My sister's murder.
Oh,
Yeah.
could you elaborate a little bit on that?
So 5 years ago, and that was my life-changing event, why I quit music and why I really had to do a deep dive and looked at my life and changed a lot of things that I wasn't okay with, but I just was going along with it because that was the only thing I knew. Music, entertainment industry, that was the only thing I knew. It doesn't mean that it was necessarily me, especially because there was a lot of things that I found difficult to compromise with due to my upbringing and my culture, my religion, and everything. But um, so 5 years ago, um, I came to Germany to visit my family. I have a younger sister that I was very close to. And so there were some renovation work done in the building where she lived. And one of the plumbers, he came after work and he raped her. He strangled her with the phone cable and he drowned her in a bathtub.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for that, Ness.
thank you. I appreciate that.
And through that challenge, Ness, what did it teach you about yourself?
It taught me that the most important thing in life is peace. It taught me that anxieties do exist because I never had anxieties before. And I never, like I had certain things happen to me in the past, but it never really shook me as bad as this. Um, it taught me about myself that your heart can break. It taught me it taught me that I was a coward for staying in a situation that I was not comfortable in, and that I was pretty disappointed, still am, that I needed something like this to happen in order, to make me react and actually get out of the situation and not be afraid of the new. It taught me that my intuition, I trust my intuition more than anything because I knew straight away who it was. Um, yeah, it taught me a lot of things. A lot of things.
I really want to thank you, Ness, for sharing that. And on tea
You didn't
time,
know?
no, I didn't know. I
Oh,
didn't. I did not know. So I want to thank you for sharing that with me because I know that that is a hard time for you. And I want the viewers and listeners to pay attention to today's tea time because this is what it is. Life is hard, but we still can overcome stuff. And sometimes these traumas are what actually push us forward and out of our comfort zones and out of our situations. And thank you, Ness, for saying that it took that for you to set your boundaries and say, you know what, enough is enough. And this is what it is, right? Some of us have hard stories and have gone through things, but until you know the story, you don't understand the person. You don't understand where the person's coming from. And this is why, Ness, I wanted to have this chance to have you on Tea Time because I want people to say, look, she has this woman on Tea Time. Who is she? She's a person that matters. That's who she is. She's a person that makes a difference. She has overcome stuff. Ness, you are an incredible, strong woman. And I want to thank you for sharing that part with us on Tea Time. And I want to thank the viewers and listeners who are taking the time to listen with your hearts today
thank you.
to this Tea Time. But I want to bring back Ness. music, because I think
Wait, I want to
music.
just say something real quick, because sometimes there's people out there, and especially when it comes to trauma, I just want to say, some people have really wild expectations. This is not something that you can heal from. Like all these people talk about healing. There is no healing in this. What there is managing. You can manage this, okay? There's days that are going to be worries where you like hate everybody, including yourself and the whole world, and you don't want to do nothing but just lie in your bed, and that's fine. But then you have to remember, try again tomorrow, get up and do what you have to do, because this doesn't is not about you. Your responsibility is now to fight for yourself and for everybody around you, because you cannot just like give in like that. But I don't want this narrative of healing to continue. No, it's not healing, it's management.
I like that you said that, because I always tell everyone healing is a life journey. It's a life job. You don't overcome trauma. You learn to manage. You learn to a new life. It's like grief. It
Yes.
changes you. It turns you into a different person. You're still the
Yes.
same person. You're still that person that everyone knows the name, but your life has actually changed, because it actually opens up those doors and says, you know what, I can no longer live this way because I'm hurting.
Yes.
And and a lot of people, oh, I'm healed. Well, if you're healed, I don't believe you.
No, me
I'm gonna
neither.
be
Sorry.
I'm gonna be straight
That
up
was
with
horrible.
you. I'm not gonna, because healing is a lifetime journey. Trauma is lifetime. You learn to manage it, and I'm really happy that you said that, Ness, because that's what people need to understand. Healing is management, and unless you
Yes.
take that management step and those tools and tips, you will not get over, you will not pass through that struggle, because you're not ever going to get over the trauma. You're just
And
going
then
to
I
learn to live another way, right?
absolutely, but I also want to say to all these people who claim that they're healed, then I would ask you, don't talk about whatever you went through anymore. If you're healed from it, like do you talk about, a fall that you had when you were 8 years old? Do you talk about when, I don't know, like an injury from first grade? You don't talk about them. So if that's the case, if you're healed, then don't talk about it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring you back to music before you
Yes.
before you added on, Ness, because I wanted to see if the music actually helped you with your journey as well.
Um,
Did you turn to music after your sister's
no, I quit music. I didn't want nothing to do with music.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
did you turn to art? Did you turn to something else that helped you?
I actually, to be honest, I took time to find out who I am and be honest with myself. This was when I had to really learn to be not just honest with, is this good? Is this bad? Like, who am I? Who am I away from this music? Who am I away from TV? Who am I away from all of these events and all of these recording sessions and all of these people? Who am I when I don't have to pretend?
I like that statement. Who am I? And for all the listeners and viewers, and that will watch the replay later, ask yourself that. Who am I? And that's a scary question sometimes, because a lot of us put this mask on. We do pretend to fit in, to follow, to watch, like Ness has mentioned. So, Ness, I want to get into your tea before we get into the
Yes.
podcasting and dope and damage. So, if I gave you the tea, what would your tea be?
Okay, so the tea I have actually on my table right now is green tea with jasmine, but what would my tea be? I like different type of tea, but I just like. So you mean what type of tea, right? God,
No, the TEA. So if I gave
yeah.
you those letters, TEA, we've done this before
Oh,
on another
okay. My
program that
my
we were
bad,
on
my bad.
together.
No, I got all in the tea. I cannot.
But you
This
can
is so.
share what kind of tea you like. Like we can talk
I
tea. Like
don't know. I'm like, okay. So T for tenacity, E for energy, and A. Oh my god, I could be morbid and say afterlife, but
well, why
yeah,
not?
why not? Why not?
It's
Yes,
your
let's go
tea, right?
with it. Let's go with it. Yeah.
So
Tenacity, energy, afterlife. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Like, it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. This is what tea is. It is about you. So if that's what really encourages you, or that's who you are, Ness, that is your tea. And
It really
afterlife,
is.
what's wrong with afterlife? Like, there, I want to go to the afterlife. I want to see what I'm going
Exactly.
over there for.
Exactly. That's why we put in the work here, you know?
Right? So when we go over to the other side, what journey and what adventure are we going to get? You know, does it show us all of the experiment and journey that we had on life planet, like where we are now in the life, but the afterlife, what journey do we have? I always wonder about that too. Like, I'm always like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be cool over there, or is it going to be another struggle, is it going to be another challenge, you know?
I feel like it depends on, this is, first of all, this is what I believe in. But so it's just like, subjective to me. And so whatever we put out in this world, whatever we give back, whatever we do, all our deeds, this is I feel like what determines how it's going to go in the afterlife. This is like a preparation for afterlife. Otherwise, why are we here?
Exactly. There has to be a reason why we're here and why we're going through what we're going through, because
Yeah.
everyone's story is different, right?
Hmm.
So now let's get into the dope and damage. Where did that come from? And I love the name of that podcast, Dope and Damage,
Ooh.
because a lot of people they'll look at it in a negative way, but it isn't negative at all, is it?
Well, I've never. So you're the second person who actually brought negativity into dope and damage. One time there was somebody who really asked me, "So do you mean drugs with dope?" And I was like, "What? I never even thought of that. It never even. Why couldn't it be dopamine? Why couldn't it be like why? Like no. So dope and damage is very simple. I am a fan for whatever reason of oxymorons. You know,
Okay.
and I hate being niched down. I hate when somebody tells me you have to be this way or that way, or you have to just focus on one thing. No, I'm not. I'm an artist. I'm creative. I don't know how to do that. Neither am I willing to learn how to do that. So I just feel like people have different talents and different sides to them, different attributes. Like when you describe a person, you just don't say, "Oh, they are kind." There's different things that you can say about them. They're not just one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of having to decide: is this a great person or is this a bad person? So why can't we be dope and damaged? Why can't we be great but flawed at the same time?
I love it. And when I first heard of dope and damage, I won't lie, Ness. I thought, okay, this is about drugs and
Oh my
like
gosh.
and then I was like, no, maybe there's something else. But the word dope, we don't hear it as an excitement, as something cool, you
Yes,
know?
we do. How many times do we say, "Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's a dope dress. That's a dope song. Wow, that's dope." Or, "Oh, you're dope." So we do, but it's just like if it's not in your circles or in your environment, I get it, but usually that's a word that's been around for a while.
Yeah, and I think everybody should check out Dope and Damage. Check out the podcast because it is a pretty cool podcast. Because I've seen that your co-hosts as well. They're pretty dope and damaged too. Like, they're pretty cool. So check it out. That I am putting it up as we're speaking. Where you can find Dope and Damage, you can find it on Instagram. You can find it on YouTube. So give it a quick subscribe. Check that out. So Ness,
Absolutely. All
what
streaming platforms.
right? And so what has Dope and Damage taught you as a host?
So dope and damage is a journey for me, because I come from an environment where you just come, you just do a job, everything is there. Technology is on point, everything's on point, you don't have to worry. So for me, I had the challenges of learning, okay, what cameras do I need? What microphone do I need? How do I get this to work? How do I make a little bit of a quality control? How can I up my quality? What else do I need? Oh, this is the wrong camera. Oh, shoot, now I gotta buy another one. Okay, no, this mic is no good. Now let me do some research. So how do I set this up? Lighting, and these kind of things are a big challenge for me because I cannot see. So I always have to kind of like rely on other people, and I have to rely on my intuition. And lighting, as much as people say, oh, it's simple, Y'all don't know what you're talking about. That's a different one.
I love that you said that,
That's it.
because I'm just like that. The lighting is awful. This is not good. Like, yeah, I don't know. Lighting is not a simple thing. If it's simple, it's like
I
healing, right?
hate
If
it when
you
people
feel,
say that.
go over there. If you got the lighting situation figured out, you
Good
know,
for you, bro.
right?
Help a sister out.
There's a lot of work behind hosting a podcast, right? So I want you to share with the viewers and listeners the behind the scenes work that goes into a podcast.
Okay, wait. First of all, I want to say I did 3 seasons just on my own with different guests. And then I thought, like, okay, this is all great. We talk about mindset, we talk about entrepreneurship. I'm really passionate about this. But there is something missing, like some spice is missing, and I hate bland food. So let me just, So I brought two co hosts on. We're just doing the fourth season together. It is a little bit different. So it's a mix between, I call it edutainment, a little bit of education, a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of everything. That's what makes a good meal. Like, and that's with a podcast, it's the same thing. I don't want it to be stiff. I don't want it to be just funny. I want it to have a little bit of everything. So behind the scenes, you got to make sure that your equipment is on point. You got to make sure the programs are working. Now that we're doing most of the things virtual, obviously, there is one thing that you can't control, and that is the internet. Because if your provider has issues and your internet is striking, there is nothing you can do. Like, you could have the biggest podcast that you want to do, you just have to figure it out. Either you go elsewhere and you travel with 2 suitcases and all of your equipment, or you just try to reschedule. However, you got to find guests. And this is also something, like, not every guest, because you think they're cool, not every person, just because they seem cool and you think they're cool, make a good guest on a podcast. Not everybody can share or talk, or not everybody is, comes across a certain way where that complements your character, your personality, and your platform.
Absolutely. And it is hard. It is a lot of work to find good guests, because if it doesn't align with your platform, then it actually can disconnect, right? And then the viewers and listeners pull away, because there's no connection, there's no
Yeah.
engagement with each other, and interviews are hard enough because you feel pressure because you have these questions. And this is why on Tea Time it is just a free flow. It is a flow of tea. We go wherever the flow goes, and we talk about all sorts of things. So, Nes, we met during an event that we did together for Khmer Youths.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to get into this public speaking. You do public speaking as well, right?
I do that. I do more workshops and stuff when it comes to things. So that was, I think, the second or third time I did a virtual public speaking, to be honest.
So, have you ever spoken like on a stage in public,
Yes,
or
yes,
has it?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
I do that I did more than virtual. That's what I'm saying. Like, this virtual thing is kind of like new to me. That was like the third time I did it. I did it virtually. Normally, I do it live on a stage. Um, that is more the setting.
So, if you had a tagline to give to yourself right now, what tagline would you give yourself, Ness?
What do you mean with tagline?
Like to introduce yourself, 3 words. What 3 words would you give?
Oh man.
You're coming to the stage. What words would you want that host to say about you?
See, I have a different opinion on that. I don't get caught up in this. I don't
Okay.
really care. Okay, okay, if you introduce me as a donkey, then that's a different story. But other than that, I
I don't
don't
know.
really.
Donkeys are pretty smart. I don't know. People got to give those
Okay,
donkeys
well
a bit of
then, as
credit.
a duck, or I like ducks. I don't know what it's whatever, but I'm not a donkey. Like, let it be smart or not smart. Like, if you introduce me as a donkey, which I'm not, I'm a human. I'm a woman, and I don't really care. Like, whatever they want to, they know what I'm doing. I don't know. What am I? Who am I? I really don't know. I'm just a person who's trying to figure out life.
So
You know.
I like that, and that's because you're telling people, you don't have to introduce me with all these big fancy names and fancy
No.
things, and I'm just Ness, and this is who I am. Take it or leave it. You know. And and we need that. We need more of the authenticity, that people living with integrity and saying, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I bring. It's either you like it or you don't like it.
And this is why one of my favorite sayings ever is, don't let your loyalty become slavery. If they don't like what you bring to the table, let them eat alone. So that's why I don't need this big introduction. I am what I am, and I do what I do. And it might change tomorrow. Who says that I'm not gonna be, I don't know what tomorrow. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm a realtor tomorrow. You never know. So why am I stuck on all of these fancy words? Okay, I'm a creative person, and I'm a host, I'm a passionate person in so many different ways. I love entrepreneurship, I love mindset, I love entertainment, I love I don't know, writing. Why I don't know how to put that all under one umbrella. I don't know
Yeah.
what you would call it. I'm just a versatile person. If you have to introduce me, I guess use the word versatile.
The versatile is coming to the stage.
Yes, the versatile.
So I asked you one word that describes you as a person, and you gave me the word tenacity. What
Uh-huh.
is it about that word that
I just
describes
can't
you?
stop. I don't know how to stop. I don't know what that is.
So you're a go-getter.
I don't know how to stop. And when somebody tells me, no, you can't do it, oh my gosh. This is like literally, no,
Watch
that
me,
just
watch
didn't
me
say
do
it.
it.
Exactly. Exactly. And watch me do it and take a picture.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's what we need, right? And that's one of my favorite sayings that I say all the time. You tell me I can't, watch that I can.
Yes. So this is the things. And even there is sometimes even things where I don't want to actually do it, but just because somebody said, well, you can't do it anyways. Oh yeah, really? Watch me.
Watch me, I'm coming
These
for you.
headphones, my hair, like everybody is against me today. Yeah.
So, and you gave me three colors for your favorite color. I asked you what your favorite color was, and you gave me three colors. Why those three colors? You gave me red, burgundy, and purple.
Oh well, the burgundy was not really smart because it's a shade of red somehow. But I don't know, because it can. So red was always my color because it's fiery. It's just like out there. It's just like a statement color for me. Um, I like colors because I'm also like I'm very much into fashion because I feel like fashion is also a way of expressing yourself. Whether same like drawing, writing, music, or any type of art. Like fashion to me is an expression, and colors, using colors with that is also an expression. Like, how do I feel today? Like a lot of people, and it's most of the people who feel insecure and don't really want to be seen because they don't want to cause too much, like, don't look at me too much. They like more the black and gray people, in terms of clothing. I'm talking, of course. um so yeah, I don't know. I don't know, they just happen to be my colors.
Well, the maps also from the countries that you're in, those colors are actually in them as well, right?
The red is in there, yeah, but we don't really want to talk about that because red in a flag always actually says that the country spilled blood, and that's not really nice. So,
Yeah, we won't get into that. That's like the political side of in
exactly.
right. So, what message would you have for a young lady that's out there that has struggled and has a lot of things that they've overcome? What message would you have for them? Yes.
Keep grinding. And it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay,
I love that.
if it makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because everybody says, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay." I know when I say that to my kids, and my kids are like, "Mom, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Ah, yeah, it's fine. Just like, yeah, it's just an okay day, you know." And we got to stop saying it's okay when we're not okay.
But we gotta also accept that it's okay. It's really okay not to be okay. Just don't
Yeah,
stay there, get out
yeah.
of it. And that's the thing. That's what I would tell everybody, not just a young girl, so young guy, young whatever, old guy, old girl. I don't know. These headphones.
So let's get into some tea because we were talking about tea and you were talking about your tea that you have. So what kind of tea are you drinking?
Well, here on my table, I have a green tea with jasmine. Are we really talking about tea this time?
Yeah, we're really talking tea now. We're talking tea because
Okay.
I have my cup of tea here too. I have a ginger tea, ginger and
Oh, I
lemon
love
tea. So,
ginger tea. Yes.
so what it is about tea that you like, Ness?
Um, so tea in the Moroccan culture is a big thing. We always drink tea, like green tea with fresh mint. So we always drink tea. It's part of the culture. It's a communal thing, like the neighbors come over, family comes over. There is always tea. There is always food, and tea is what brings people together. So I grew up with this, right? And it got to the point where it annoyed me so much, like this whole tea thing, every time tea, 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 tea. I'm sick of it. But I just think it's a nice thing, that people come together on a cup of tea, or I like tea for different health reasons, for like different reasons. And
Well,
it's
and it
yeah,
and it's like you said, right? It brings a community together. It brings family
yeah,
together.
yeah,
It's a gathering, and that's what tea time is. It's a time for us to come together and to share, have some jokes, have some tears, and be ourselves. Because when we have tea, that's what we do, right? Is we let down all the guards and we just relax and enjoy the
yep,
surroundings.
yep, absolutely.
So, if you could make a tea, what kind of tea would you make?
If my gosh, you
I'm,
mean
I'm,
if I
I'm
could?
just gonna put it out there. What kind of tea would Ness make?
You mean like create?
Yeah, create because you're into create and creativity, and you're an entrepreneur. So if I give you the chance to make your own tea, what kind of tea would you make?
I would want to make my own tea.
Oh, you wouldn't.
Well, I would want a tea that gives people energy. I would have to see. This is the thing with me. You can never ask me to make a decision or to choose. I'm not a good chooser because I don't know how to choose one thing or two things or whatever. I just want to choose everything. So I want a tea that gives you good energy, like good wake up tea, like in the morning when you have maybe a not okay day, but you have to be okay in the sense of because you still have to go to work, or whatever. So you will have to make do for several hours, or you just had sleepless night or whatever, and you just need that energy boost. So that kind of tea is what I would make.
Just like your show, Dope and Damage.
Yeah, a little bit of ginger, maybe a little bit of turmeric as well. I like, yeah, maybe mixed with a green tea, maybe some, I don't know, caraway, black seed, something like that, something weird.
Something weird. I love it
So
because
weird.
it has to be a weird tea, right? Just bland tea. I don't like bland either. I'm like, okay,
I
can we add
no,
this? Can we add
no.
that? You know. Okay, we have another question here. So, how does Ness
Ooh.
decide what song she is going to keep for herself and what song she is going to sell?
Oh my God. Okay. So this is like, it was always like this. So, oh my God, this song is so good. I'm going to keep it. No, no, I think this person would actually do a better job at this. Or, you know what? And then for me, what makes the songs, okay. So when I write for me, I used to write a little bit more, according to who I am, of course, things that I could say due to cultural background and all of that. But if there are things that I wouldn't necessarily say, I'm happy to give it to somebody else, but at least I wrote it like it's out of my heart, like into the world, but somebody else is basically presented it.
So, could I ask you to sing one of the songs that you've wrote?
Oh no, because first of all, I'm still recovering from COVID. I don't know if you can hear it, but still very nasal. I'm still not breathing right. I'm suppressing my cough, so no.
So, what kind of songs have you actually written, Ness? Like, is it more of a hip hop song? Is it
I
uh
write really everything. So I wrote a lot of R&B, a lot of pop, some some hip hop. Like really, it's across the border. But it's like if you want like an idea, it's like Rihanna, Beyonce, all of that type of stuff. Like really across the border. Like it's not just in just one genre and that's it.
So, what do you think of Rihanna's new song, Lift Me Up?
Not a fan, not at all. Not vocally a fan, not a fan of the song of the what do you call it? The whole and it's not because it's necessary such a can we curse here? Can we
Yeah,
say
of
that
course you
it's
can. I
oh
just put
it's
explicit when I put your podcast out.
it's not a shitty song, but it is a shitty song. So I get it. I get what they want to do with it. It's an amazing comeback. You come back with a big brand like Panther. She was not around for 6 years. I love Riri. She's doing amazing things. With Fenty, and I actually also like her songs. But that was for me a disappointment because I can hear that she was, I don't know, nasal on the song as well. Like she was sick. I felt like for me, that kind of song, she didn't, the emotions didn't come across for me the way they were supposed to. Because when I hear that song, I feel like, oh my gosh, um, somebody else should have sung it. Beyonce would have done definitely a better job. Or I don't know who. I really have no idea right now. But definitely not a Rihanna song for me.
I found that the opening, the music had a similarity to a song that was played in the Olympics a few years back.
Oh,
I
oh,
think it was Nikki, someone that sang another song, but I found that the music had the same kind of theme to it.
oh. No, I don't know that. But yeah.
So, any final words that you have for the viewers and listeners out there, and where can they reach you? I've been putting it on the screen, but I want you to put it out there. So, for the audio listeners, they can actually hear where they can reach you.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me today. It was a blast. I really had a lot of fun. It was worth all the hassle with the equipment and the technology and whatever issues we had. Guys, we even had to reset a password because this thing is
Yeah, we did it all to get this going.
like seriously. Team viewer, like everything, basically. Everything that you can imagine and then some. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who asked questions. I really, really do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who listens to this now and also on the replay. And I'm not just saying that, but to me, I really genuinely mean it because to me, there's so much content out there, and the fact that you just picked this and you stuck around. Thank you so much for that. That's what I want to say. And what was the question?
Any final words and how
Oh,
they
that
can
was the
find
fun.
you?
Okay, yeah. So I am Nes Reign, NES Reign. So NES_REIGN. REIGN, yeah. On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're Dope and Damaged. Also on YouTube, all streaming platforms, Instagram, TikTok, all over the place. Facebook, you'll find me. You'll find me. If you want to find me, you'll find me.
Awesome. And I want to thank you, Ness, for joining me. And thank you for having the patience as well so that we could figure this out. We weren't giving up, and I didn't want to give up on this tea time because all of the tea time guests are deeply important to me. I appreciate each and every one of them for taking the time to sit at my table and to bring their story and their journey to my table. And again, Ness, thank you so much for sharing your personal story with us today. And thank you to all the viewers and listeners that have tuned in today. And if you're going to watch the replay, please put in hashtag where you're tuning in from so I know where you're tuning in so I can give you a follow if you have a podcast or a show out there. Also, we have a double show coming on November 10th. So I will have the Runaway Husbands coming in from Canada. And then I have the supernatural friction JP McLean will be joining us as well. So I have Vicky Stark at 10 a.m. and then I have JP McLean coming in at 7 p.m. So it'll be a double show that day. So be sure to check that out. And for anyone who doesn't know what Runaway Husbands is, it's husbands that abandoned their wives And yes, it is a serious matter and it is out there. So we will have a deep discussion on that. And Ness, again, thank you so much for joining today on Tea Time. And thank you everyone for tuning in and supporting Tea Time. And you tuning in and sharing these tea times does make a difference. And these stories do make a difference to each and every one of us, because without our stories, we are not making a difference at all. We need to start sharing. We need to start being ourselves, be our authentic selves, and serve our TEA to the world. So again, thank you, Ness, so much for joining me today on Tea Time with Miss Liz.
Absolutely. Thank you. It was a pleasure.